The neon glow of my computer screen flickered like a malevolent beacon as I descended into the digital abyss. I was a detective, but this was a far realm removed from the precinct's fluorescent-lit rooms. It was the underbelly of the internet, the infamous dark web. My mission was to hunt down a human trafficking ring that had been eluding law enforcement for years. Rumors whispered of an anonymous online marketplace, the Red Veil, where lives were auctioned like macabre commodities. It was a place where predators lurked in the shadows, and the darkest of human desires found their vilest outlet. My alias, Cipher, was my only companion as I navigated the labyrinthine corridors of encrypted websites and forums. The air grew thick with tension as I delved deeper into this digital underworld, my heart racing with every click of the mouse. One night, I stumbled upon a chat room pulsating with forbidden secrets. My fingers trembled as I typed, infiltrating a conversation that promised a glimpse into the abyss. The chilling moniker, the Puppet Master, dominated the screen. "The Red Veil is opening tonight," the Puppet Master declared, his words oozing with malice. "Fresh merchandise. Prospective buyers, you're in for a treat." My pulse quickened. It was now or never. I needed to play the part, convincingly enough to gain their trust. I fabricated a persona, a depraved soul seeking to exploit the innocent, all while retaining my true purpose: to dismantle this hellish enterprise. The rendezvous was set for a dark corner of the web, a virtual marketplace cloaked in secrecy. My heart hammered as I prepared for the showdown. There, I would come face to face with the sinister figures behind the Red Veil, if only digitally. The fateful night arrived. The atmosphere in the chat room crackled with anticipation. I watched, horrified, as listings for humans of all ages and backgrounds appeared on the screen, each accompanied by a gut-wrenching description of their worth. In a hushed tone, the Puppet Master issued instructions for the bidding. My stomach churns as faceless buyers cast their virtual lots, auctioning away lives like objects on a cruel stage. As the digital gavel fell, I seized my chance. With the resolve of a predator, I infiltrated their encrypted network. A digital battle ensued, an adrenaline-fueled chess match as I traced the Puppet Master's elusive footsteps. Time became a blur as I hunted him through a labyrinth of servers and firewalls. His cunning and expertise were unmatched, but I was driven by an unyielding sense of justice. The trail led me deeper into the abyss, where every second felt like an eternity. Finally, I cornered him in a digital cul-de-sac. The Puppet Master was trapped, his veil of anonymity stripped away. With trembling fingers, I initiated the arrest, relishing the look of disbelief that flashed across his face as his screen went dark. The nightmare was over, at least online. The human trafficking ring was dismantled, its members apprehended, but the darkness of that journey into the depths of the dark web would forever haunt my dreams. As I logged out, I couldn't help but wonder how many more malevolent secrets lurked beneath the surface of the internet, waiting for the next brave soul to descend into the abyss in the name of justice. In the quiet of a frigid winter night, I sat alone in my suburban home, gazing into the flickering flames of my dimly lit fireplace. The sudden, piercing ring of my phone shattered the stillness. The caller ID read Police Department. Panic clenched my chest as I answered the call. "Mr. Anderson?" A stern voice on the other end inquired. "Yes, this is John Anderson," I replied, my voice barely a whisper. "I'm sorry to inform you, Mr. Anderson, but we found a body. We believe it may be your son, Mark." The room spun around me as I clutched the phone tightly. Panic and disbelief washed over me, and I struggled to catch my breath. "And no, that can't be," I stammered, tears welling up in my eyes. The drive to the crime scene felt like an eternity. My heart pounded in my chest, and the world outside blurred into a haze of uncertainty. I desperately hoped it wasn't my son, but deep down, I feared the worst. The scene that awaited me was a nightmare etched in my memory forever. Mark's lifeless body lay dismembered, each part sealed in separate bags, a macabre puzzle only a deranged mind could devise. My knees buckled, and I vomited at the sight. How could this happen to my beloved son? Weeks turned into months, and the investigation went cold. There were no witnesses, no DNA, no traceable leads. The police were at a dead end, and I felt my world crumble around me. I couldn't let my son's murderer go unpunished. One night, as I sat alone in Mark's room, tears streaming down my face, I noticed a glint beneath the bed. I reached for it and found a hidden USB drive. Intrigued, I plugged it into my computer, and a dark world unfolded before me. Mark had delved into the depths of the dark web out of curiosity, an obsession that ultimately led to his gruesome death. The files on the USB drive revealed horrifying secrets, from illegal transactions to a sinister network of criminals. My son had uncovered things he was never meant to see. Determined to seek justice for my son, I embarked on a perilous journey. I immersed myself in the world of cybersecurity and hacking, learning the tools of the trade from the darkest corners of the internet. I had become a digital vigilant, hunting the very monsters that had taken my son's life. As the months turned into a year, my skills grew, and my obsession deepened. I tracked down leads, hacked into encrypted forums, and followed a trail of breadcrumbs that led to the shadowy figures responsible for Mark's death. I felt myself becoming a different person, consumed by darkness and driven by vengeance. With enough evidence to incriminate those behind my son's murder, I hatched a dangerous plan. I lured the culprits into a trap, a web of my own making, and waited in the shadows. The showdown was intense, a cat-and-mouse game in the digital realm. I faced off against ruthless adversaries who had no qualms about taking another life. It was a terrifying battle of wits and hacking skills that would determine the fate of those responsible for Mark's death. As the final lines of code were executed, I watched with a mix of triumph and despair. The authorities would soon apprehend the murderers, but I couldn't bring my son back. I had ventured into the dark web, descending into a world of shadows, and emerged forever changed. In the end, I had found the justice I sought, but it came at a price. I had glimpsed the darkest corners of the human psyche, and the experience had left me scared. The dark web had devoured my son, and nearly consumed me too. As I stood by Mark's grave, I whispered a promise to myself. I would use my newfound knowledge to protect others from the horrors of the dark web. I would be a guardian, a sentinel against the malevolent forces that lurked in the digital abyss, ensuring that no other parent would have to endure the nightmare I had lived through. And so I, John Anderson, continued my solitary vigil, a shadowy figure in the virtual realm, forever haunted by the darkness I had faced and the son I had lost. In the dimly lit world of the dark web, where secrets fester and malevolence thrives, I became a nameless phantom, a digital wraith. My mission: to dismantle a sinister gang organization responsible for unspeakable horrors, from contract killings to human trafficking, all masterminded from the hidden depths of the web. I was not your average hacker. My skill set was honed by years of clandestine operations, sanctioned by the American government, their shadowy hand guiding me through the maze of ones and zeros. My name, it didn't matter. I was merely known as Silhouette, an entity feared even among the denizens of the dark web. The mission was simple in its complexity: infiltrate the gang's network, identify its key players, and obliterate their digital infrastructure. And I wasn't alone in this harrowing quest. The government had assembled a team of experts, each a virtuoso in their respective domains, from cryptography to cyber warfare. Together, we were a force to be reckoned with. Our journey into the abyss of the dark web began with a whisper of code, an encrypted message that only I could decipher. It led us down a rabbit hole of encrypted chats, hidden forums, and a labyrinth of pseudonyms and cryptic symbols. The gang operated under the ominous moniker, the Black Serpent, a name that sent shivers down the spine of even the most hardened hackers. As we delved deeper, the gang's horrific deeds were laid bare before us. Images and videos of their gruesome handiwork haunted our screens. Lifeless faces of victims who had crossed their path, all of whom had met their fates through the merciless contracts executed by the Black Servant. Our team's collective mission took on a personal dimension as we encountered survivors of the gang's horrors. Their tales were chilling, like a script from a dystopian nightmare. It fueled our determination to bring justice to those who had suffered. But the Black Serpent was no ordinary adversary. They were cunning and relentless, striking fear into the hearts of even the bravest souls. Their defenses were formidable, layered with encrypted tunnels, decoy servers, and a legion of loyal hackers who guarded their secrets zealously. As we closed in on our prey, tension escalated. Each keystroke, every line of code, brought us closer to the ultimate showdown. The clock was ticking, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. Failure was not an option. Then, one fateful night, the digital battlefield erupted into chaos. It was a relentless, cinematic showdown as we unleashed our cyber arsenal against the Black Servant. The virtual realm quivered under the ferocity of our assault. Firewalls crumbled and defenses shattered. But in the darkest moments, it wasn't just our digital skills that defined us. It was our collective will to vanquish evil, our resolve to bring justice to those who had suffered. The Black Serpent's empire crumbled, its leaders exposed and apprehended, their nefarious deeds laid bare for the world to see. In the aftermath, the dark web was a little less sinister, a little safer for those who traversed its treacherous paths. Our mission was accomplished, but the scars of what we had witnessed would forever haunt our souls. And as I faded back into the digital shadows, a nameless phantom once more, I knew that the battle between good and evil in the darkest corners of the web would rage on, an eternal struggle in the digital abyss.